vast ocean conceals countless secrets from us. Only 5 to 10% of the ocean has been explored. A myriad of mysteries may lie in the icy depths below. Because the uncertain waters are so remote, there have been many unsolved cases in which ships abundant with sailors have gone missing, never to be seen again. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we'll be taking a look at 3 sea captains who disappeared at sea. Roald Amundsen. Roald Amundsen was a polar explorer during the heroic age of Antarctic exploration. He played a crucial role in the exploration of polar zones and was extremely successful until his disappearance. He was born into a family of shipowners, to Jens Amundsen and Hanna Svalquist. The family was sizable, with him being their 4th son. At 15, he read Sir John Franklin's narrative of polar expeditions, which shaped his entire future. Hannah, his mother, encouraged him to pursue the stable vocation of doctorhood, hoping that he would not follow the family tradition of becoming a sailor or trader at sea. For her sake, Roald agreed and attended university for a short amount of time until his mother passed away. Immediately, he dropped out of his studies to begin a new, exciting life on the waves, joining the Belgian Antarctic expedition as first mate. Adrien de Galasha led this expedition on the RV Belgica. The journey ended terribly as the Belgica got stuck in ice glaciers off the coast of Alexander Island, west of the Antarctic. The crew were subsequently unprepared for the winter which followed. Due to his medical knowledge, Roald Amundsen estimated that the American named Frederick Cook had likely saved them all from scurvy by hunting for animals and giving the crew the meat. When one cannot obtain citrus fruits, fresh meat from animals who produce their own vitamin C usually has just enough of it to prevent the horrid disease. This was a realization he would carry with him for the rest of his career. In 1903, Amundsen led the first expedition to traverse Canada's Northwest Passage. He took 6 men with him in a vessel named Joua, which had a small and shallow draft. The ship had a small 13-horsepower paraffin engine. The crew spent 2 winters at King William Island, where Amundsen learned about Arctic survival from the local Netsilik Inuit population. Alongside this, he learned how to sledge dogs and use animal skins for warmth. The Joua cleared the Canadian Arctic archipelago on the 17th of August 1905, having to make a stop for the winter before journeying on to the Pacific coast. The nearest telegraph station was 800 kilometers away. Amundsen succeeded in wiring a message in December and went on to Nome in 1906. He was initiated into the American Antiquarian Society. During this time, he learnt he had a new king, Haakon VII, after the dissolution of Norway and Sweden's union. He sent him news of his successes and proclaimed his achievement of traversing the Northwest Passage to be a great achievement for Norway. The crew returned to Oslo in 1906 after almost 4 years. In 1909, Amundsen craved more adventure, alerting his crew that they would be heading to Antarctica, planning on exploring the Arctic basin. Though he found it extremely difficult to raise the necessary funds, regardless, he set out for the south in 1910. Amundsen and his men reached the Great Ice Barrier and set up camp called Framheim. For a while, they fared well in the freezing temperatures, with Amundsen using past experiences and Inuit knowledge to their advantage. They set out to reach the direct South Pole in October and achieved claiming the icy pole, naming their southern base Polheim and renaming the Antarctic plateau King Haakon VII's Plateau, and managed to safely return back to Framheim. His planning and skillful tactics were crucial in their accomplishment. In 1918, he set out on another expedition in a new ship, Maud, which lasted until 1925. He wished to explore the smaller, undiscovered areas of the Arctic Ocean. Amundsen wanted to freeze the Maud into the ice caps, and this indeed happened, but too well, and they became heavily trapped. This occurred multiple times, and they spent 2 winters frozen in ice. Amundsen broke his arm during this time and was attacked by polar bears, and was of little assistance to his own men when hunting or slaying. The crew returned to Nome to fix the ship, but Amundsen's men abandoned him, furious that they had not achieved what they set out to do. Sometime afterwards, he ended up adopting 2 indigenous girls, 4-year-old Kakunita and Camilla, but 2 years later he lost all his finances, sending the girls to stay with Camilla's father in eastern Russia. In 1923, he attempted to fly over the pole. Amundsen's aircraft was damaged and the journey had to be abandoned. In 1925, he accompanied Lincoln Ellsworth, taking a flying boat to go over to the north, but like the previous aircraft, got too damaged to complete the travel. In 1926, Amundsen and 15 other men managed to cross the Arctic in their airship. After an extraordinary career and successful life, Roald Amundsen mysteriously disappeared on the 18th of June 1928 whilst flying over the Arctic on a rescue mission. Amundsen's flying boat never returned, and he was never seen again, yet his legacy eternally remains. Gaspar and Miguelcoteriel. At the dawn of the 1500s, 2 brotherly explorers went missing on their journeys. Gaspar and Miguelcoteriel were the first amongst sailors and captains to travel the northeastern coast of America. The Coteriel family were a noble Portuguese house. Gaspar was allegedly the more aggressive of the brothers. In 1499, he heard that King Manuel I granted John Fernandez the right to lead an expedition to the North Atlantic as the king wished to control the Northwest Passage to India and Spice Islands. However, Fernandez did not take the grant immediately, so Gaspar took the chance and gained royal permission to set out on an expedition of his own in the summer of 1500. He took a trio of ships with him, funded by his noble family. Gaspar Coteriel explored the shoreline of Greenland firstly, meeting with the native population. The harsh winter icebergs caused him and his men to leave the land and return to Portugal in the winter of 1500. In May 1501, he set out on another expedition to discover the unknown lands in the northwest with his brother Miguel, and landed in Labrador, exploring the coast. Miguel returned home with 2 ships to report their wondrous discoveries after they went 600 miles inland, expecting Gaspar to return soon thereafter. When he didn't arrive, Miguel set out to find him on a rescue mission funded by the king with 3 ships in 1502. Gaspar Coteriel mysteriously disappeared on the shores of Labrador seemingly overnight. Miguel's 3 ships ended up in Newfoundland and decided to split up and reconnect later on. 2 of the 3 ships did as instructed, meeting up at the agreed place on the agreed day. Miguel's ship was never found, assumed lost at sea during a suspected storm. Concerned for the noble brothers, the king himself financed a 3rd rescue mission in 1503, banning their 3rd brother from going and instead sent a government official. The men were never found. Benjamin Briggs' Mary Celeste. The mystery of the Mary Celeste has been speculated upon for almost 3 centuries. In 1872, the Mary Celeste was uncovered on the coast of Portugal, entirely devoid of any signs of life from the crew which once boarded it. Among the missing crew was Benjamin Briggs, the ship's captain and master mariner. The ship was still under sail and in almost pristine condition despite 1 lifeboat missing and no men on board. Sarah Briggs, Benjamin's wife, and their 2-year-old daughter, Sophia, disappeared along with him, all presumed to have passed away. The Briggs bloodline carried the maritime passion in its veins. The ocean was Benjamin's whole world, which shaped him into an experienced sailor who knew the dangers of the sea, often sailing together with his brother, Oliver Briggs. The master mariner was heavily faithful to God and married Sarah, the daughter of a reverend, in 1862. Together they sailed all over Europe and had 2 children, including their eldest son, Arthur Briggs. Oliver and Benjamin planned on purchasing a hardware store in New Bedford and giving up their sea legs, but in 1872, Benjamin bought a share in James Winchester's Mary Celeste, a merchant ship, and decided to do one last voyage before giving up their marine passion for good. It is tragically ironic that this was to be his final journey. Benjamin and Sarah's son, Arthur, survived, having been at his grandmother's during the time of the voyage, and the Briggs have living relatives. We will never know what fate became of these great explorers. Despite the pessimistic nature of their disappearances, the missing rowboat on the Mary Celeste leaves the hope that the crew, and if not at least the Briggs family, survived and settled elsewhere. Perhaps the Coteriel brothers let go of their noble bloodline and chose to live amongst the natives of Labrador. Maybe Roald Amundsen found something extraordinary and unimaginable in the skies as he flew over the Arctic, or perhaps they simply perished in the dangerous circumstances of their journeys. Whatever your theory may be, it changes not the fact that we may never truly get the satisfaction of uncovering what happened to these great men, but we can keep their memory and achievements alive. But what do you make of these captains who disappeared at sea? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below and help us by growing this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.